Good morning, Dave.
Time for Father Matt Frisbee and his sports roundup. Good morning, Father Matt.
Hey, Father.
Good morning, Dave and Ron. Good to be with you. And I just have to kind of piggyback off of what was said. And, you know, there's a reason Dave's on the radio and not on TV.
Man, this is good stuff. Oh, that's all about me. I don't know. It's funny.
Right.
It's
as long
funny.
as they're talking about
as long as
you,
it's funny. Father Matt, the world of sports has turned upside down, right side up, and then upside down again. So many things going on right now.
Absolutely. You know, I can't believe it. I've said this probably 3 weeks in a row now, but we're going to start with the NBA
All
again.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Cavs did not get it done. We were talking last Tuesday. They were down 3-1. I think they played either that night or Wednesday night. Doesn't matter. They got beat, and they lose that series in what, you know, is often called the gentleman's sweep. They lose 4-1 against the Indiana Pacers. And then Knicks Celtics went to Game 6, but the Knicks, if I remember correctly, really ran the Celtics out of the gym that night.
Yeah, they did.
So in the Eastern Conference Finals, we have one of those classic 90s matchups. I don't know if they ever saw each other in the Eastern Conference Finals, but the Pacers and the Knicks, as I said last week, it just brings back a lot of nostalgia for those matchups, which were so heated in the 90s.
Yeah, you expect Reggie Miller to step out on the court, but he's at the broadcast booth. But, man, you'd love to see him come out and hit a three for the Pacers.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, I never really liked the Knicks and wanted to see the Pacers get it done, and they never could against the Knicks, really.
No,
right. But we've got two totally different teams now, you know, even though it's Pacers and Knicks, completely different teams, all new players, obviously. So, and then in the Western Conference Finals, we have Oklahoma City Thunder, who were really right up there with the Cavs all year in terms of best record, best team in the NBA in the regular season. They got it done. It took a little bit of work against the Nuggets, but they got it done, and facing a team that I suspect no one really thought would make it to the Western Conference Finals, the Minnesota Timberwolves. So really, you think of the East, no one, I think very, very few predicted the Pacers and the Knicks. And I think very, very few predicted the T-Wolves in the West. So we'll kind of see what happens. Game 1 tonight of the Western Conference Finals and Game 1 tomorrow of the Eastern Conference Finals. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and I'll say, as someone who completely disconnected from the NBA and is now back, it is good basketball. It is fun team basketball, blocking out, great defense, by the way. Defense is back in the NBA, and a lot of passing. Yeah, just fabulous and fun game to watch right now.
Yeah, I have to admit, I've not watched very much of the playoffs, but it is a lot better than the regular season. I think what would make it even better if we had the production value of the 90s with the NBA on NBC. They also knew how to build the drama and produce a television product too. So, but that's just my own thing.
Yeah, I always call it a successful playoff season when LeBron is no longer in it. I don't know why, but that's just the way I look at it. So not when he was with Cleveland, but anytime after that.
Well, you know, it's funny you say that because some talking head was talking last week. Of course, that's what a talking head does.
Yeah.
But was just saying with what might be LeBron's future in the West and with the Lakers, and just looking at how the West, and maybe in some regards, is pretty stacked. And you look out in the East, and they were saying, you know, the Celtics with Jason Tatum going down with that Achilles rupture. You know, maybe LeBron looks to come back east, and who knows? Maybe he'll try and finagle his way back onto the Cavs for one last shot at a title. But, of course, I'm sure that would also be dependent on his son being on the team, too.
Right.
So who knows what the offseason has to bring. You know, the other thing we didn't talk last week about the NBA was the lottery, the draft. And a lot of people saying how rigged the NBA is because the Dallas Mavericks, who had I think it was a 1.8% chance of getting the number one pick. Got the number one pick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, something fishy
we'll see
there.
what happens.
Yeah, I guess so.
There's something fishy there. So, there's that. But as we move more and more into the summer, of course, we know it's all about baseball, too. And, boy, our Tribe in Cleveland had a rough weekend against the Reds. Barely scored any runs and lost. Got swept by the Reds, who I think going into that series had a losing record. So just not a good weekend. And now they have either 3 or 4 games against the Twins. They basically have 7 games this upcoming week against the Twins and Tigers. The Twins had a 13-game win streak, so that's not good. But their game kind of got rained out or suspended last night. Only played about 3 innings, and so that game will pick up today. And so they play the Twins, and then, of course, they play the Tigers, who are just
and the Tigers keep winning, and the Guardians keep losing. So, I mean, Cleveland now has slipped to 4th place, in the AL Central. So this is kind of I'm a little nervous here, Father. I don't know about you.
Oh, yeah, I am too. Tom Hamilton, the legendary Indians Guardians radio broadcast play-by-play guy, he made the comment the other day during one of the games. He says, you don't win the division in May, but you can certainly get close to losing it and get buried if you don't watch out. And that's where they are. And hitting's been an issue. I was talking with a friend last night. We were having dinner, and he commented that the Tribe has about 3 players that are hitting around 300, and then after that, no one's above 250. Well, you got to score runs to win in baseball. If you don't score, you don't win. Simple as that.
Way too early to be talking college football, but it looks like Ohio State, with last signings and opportunities for gentlemen that we look like we might be signing, could move into the number 1 recruiting class for the year, which would bode well for the team that, by the way, just as a reminder, won the Natty. So I'm just saying, like, if you have the number 1 recruiting class and you're also the national champion, that looks like a pretty good setup for a good year.
Absolutely. And that's a good reminder to everyone that Ohio State is your defending national champions, and they remain so until someone else wins it. Picked up a cornerback there this past week, last Monday, I think it was. So they continue to recruit well. We'll see what the college football season brings. For the Buckeyes, of course, the big question, probably more than anything, is going to be at the quarterback position. As Will Howard goes on the NFL, sadly, to the Steelers, and you have Lincoln Keenholz, who has been with the team a couple of years, but really seen very little playing time, and Julian Sand, the former 5-star recruit, transferred from Alabama. Which of those two is going to get the starting quarterback position? But then knowing they're both very young, and you're going to have to lean on a run game, but then getting the ball to Jeremiah Smith, of course, too.
But to be the quarterback of that team with that wide receiver group, come on. I mean, you talk about an opportunity.
Yeah, that's right. A great opportunity. So, the other thing for the Buckeyes, I say it's quarterback, but there was leadership on last year's team. Guys who stayed for their senior year. We think of Emeka Ibuka and Travion Henderson and Jack Sawyer and JT Tuimuliao, and others. And you lose that leadership, and so this is where other guys have to step up and lead the team as well. So it'll be interesting to see. And then, of course, we always have that, what will the team up north do? We'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Go Walleyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big game tonight.
Down the road to the Kelly Cup. Absolutely. Father Matt Frisbee, thank you so much. Always love to pick your brain about sports because you know so much about it and I know so little about it.
Mine's been my 8th grade English teacher. Stop picking your brain, Dave. Oh, no. Yeah, anyway.
Have a great day, Father.
You too. God bless.